Super Mario 64 is a game that needs no introduction. Beloved by millions and practically pioneering the 3D platforming genre, among other achievements, few games have matched the impact and legacy this game has left in the industry, including but not limited to speedrunning. In the world of speedrunning, few games epitomize the long-standing tradition and evolution of the hobby as much as SM64. 30 years since the game's release, it continues to make waves in the scene like no other, including Suiji's legendary run grabbing the world record in all 5 main categories, and even a growing bounty in the thousands of dollars for world records in those categories. Awesome Games Done Quick, or GDQ, is arguably the biggest speedrunning marathon in the world, attracting tens of thousands of live viewers on Twitch 24/7 for a week straight, while raising millions of dollars for the Prevent Cancer Foundation. And on January 11, 2026, the world got to see one of the most unique Mario 64 speedruns ever recorded. A 70-star relay where every star, every Bowser fight, was done by a different person in a relay format. That's right, more than 70 people attempted to speedrun a single playthrough of Super Mario 64. But not all the runners who participated in this titanic endeavor were comprised of series veterans. In fact, a large number of the participants have never even speedrun this game. This is the story of one of the wildest speedrunning showcases in GDQ history.
My name is Satan herself, or Satan isn't herself on Twitch, I guess. And my star is the first MIP star, so MIPS number 1, as we're calling it, which of course is where you catch the rabbit. Corner it in the basement.
Hi there, my name's Cutie. I'll be doing World from the Freezing Pond, star 54.
But yeah, I'm Dangerous. I am doing Top of the Town in Wet and Dry World for the 70-star relay.
Hello, my name is Kirby Catcher. I am a runner for GDQ 2026 for my DX, and I am responsible for the first Bowser throw.
Hi, I'm KingJ0444. I am the person who's putting the relay together, organizing it and everything like that. And I'm also doing the final Bowser throws as part of the run, but also will be commentating throughout and being the main person on stage.
But before we discuss that run, we need to discuss these runs. See, relays are no stranger to participating in big marathons. Even GDQ has had its fair share of relays in the past, but the story of Mario 64 relays goes back several years. While a 70-star relay has never been attempted at GDQ before, it has been done a handful of times in the past couple of years, notably at events such as PACE and ESA, the latter of which inspired King J to try out the concept himself with a single-space 4-page Google Doc breaking down how all of it is going to go down if accepted into a GDQ as part of his submission.
Yeah, so we did, I did this twice in the past. I did, actually, technically 3 times. First was PACE Summer 2023. I did this not on stage or on the stream. I just did it on my Twitch in the practice room at PACE. It was very scuffed. It wasn't great. And the reason I came up with wanting to do this was because ESA had done this in the past. And I thought it was really cool. I did it the same way that I'm doing it for GDQ, where I put out a form, had people sign up. I had to reach out a little bit though, because it wasn't on the main schedule. So we did that. It was very scuffed. It wasn't the best, but we finished it. And the PACE coordinator, CEO, came up to me afterwards. He was like, "I want you to do that on stage next time." So we ended up doing it on stage for PACE Fall, and that's the video I used for the GDQ submission. And then the next year, PACE Summer 2024, we did 120 star 120 person, and that was way too chaotic. I will never do that again, but it was just kind of a step up, and it was probably the most stressful thing I've ever had to do. So.
According to King J, as the date of the GDQ Games List release drew near, a sense of pessimism grew a bit. He thought the odds of the relay getting in were decreasing by the second because he didn't hear back from GDQ about potentially working out the logistics of making this a reality. However, on November 3rd, 2025, while on stream, King J discovered that his dream of organizing the relay on the biggest stage of all was a reality.
Ghostland declined. Hallowed Office declined. 3D roller. It got in! It got in! Oh my god! No way, dude! No way! Wait! It got in! Holy shit! Really got in!
Now, would you believe me if I told you that getting the run into GDQ was the easy part? Because King J is no 70-person army. And thus, the search began to find more than 70 people to join him in this monumental showcase. A sign-up sheet was provided for anyone interested in participating. Signing up was simple, and there were hardly any requirements needed to be met to be on the relay. All you had to do was basically confirm that you were going and that you'd be vetted by GDQ to actually be a part of it. Notice how I didn't say you needed to be a Mario 64 runner to be in the relay. That's right, even people who've never speedrun this game before can potentially be a part of this occasion. In fact, to take it a step further, people who have never touched an N64 in their life could be a part of this relay.
I have never touched an N64 before. I've never played this game before. I know I have an easy star. Doesn't mean I won't find some unique way to mess it up on stage. So, I'm going to be practicing a lot once I get there. I didn't even know what console it was on until after the relay list was announced.
Really?
So, yep, I thought it was on the NES or the SNES. Nope, there's another console in there called the N64.
The list of people who signed up was extensive, with 170 individuals from various speedrunning backgrounds and experiences hoping to make the cut and be a part of history. That's enough people to make 2 70-star relay teams. And having people who are not experienced in Mario 64 end up in the relay was by design. King J wanted people from different speedrunning disciplines to be a part of this, including those who've never had the chance to be on the main stage as a runner. He wanted a team made up of SM64 veterans and people brand new to the game. That means we can have someone like Bubsia, a legend in the speedrunning community, be in the relay. And on the other end of the spectrum, you got some goofy goober out here playing Cyber Tiger for the Game Boy Color who's never been Mario 64 before. I mean, get a load of this jerk. Hey, wait a minute. So with a ton of people applying, the decision wasn't easy, but after weeks of deliberation, King J announced the 70+ people who will participate in the relay, giving many runners their first shot at being on stage in one of the biggest marathon runs in recent years at a GDQ event. The excitement was palpable, especially from those who didn't think they were going to be in the relay to begin with.
I found out from Shovda DMing me in Discord in all caps, like, oh my god, turn on Joey's stream. And I missed the actual announcement itself, but I saw myself like on the slide show page that he was currently on for that star. I was like, wait, what? I mean, I was super excited, and I tuned in for the rest of the stream just to see who all else was going to be a part of it. And I'm so excited for, I mean, not just myself, but everybody else who gets to be a part of this.
The raw reaction was, oh crap, this is what I'm doing. Okay, I guess I have to actually do this now. But of course there's some excitement of being able to participate in that big, chaotic, beautiful mess that's going to play out, and to have kind of like a funny role like that is kind of like, okay, well, I'm prepared for this mentally, and I'm excited.
I basically was grinning ear to ear. I was watching on like, because he streamed the reveal of the full list, and I was so late in the list too, because right, we're in TikTok clock, so we were like in the last like 10 stars. So the whole time I'm just like, I don't know, maybe this one isn't it. But no, when it finally happened, I was overjoyed.
It's just mostly surprised because I was like, wow, I'm not exactly known for running N64 games, even though I've played a ton of SM64 back in the day, so much of this game. And it sort of is a little strange that I never ended up running it myself, because I had played it as much as I had when I was younger. I just never went back to it as an adult. But I was very excited when I was like, oh my god, I get to do a star for this relay. And when I found out what star it was, I was even more excited, because it's a decently difficult star. And I was like, all right, I get to like kind of boot camp my way through this, the week of, and try and get good at it. So we'll see how it goes.
The relay featured a mix of beginner-friendly strategies and routes, advanced tricks, breathtaking platforming, and even some runners completing their stars while blindfolded. God, I love speedrunning. A few runners had their work cut out for them with some of these stars. You got your bomb clip, your cannon list, the whole 9 yards. Some moments in this relay are going to be spent getting free stars in Peach's castle just by talking to Toad. And some are going to be spinning Bowser around. Hey, not everything can be carpless, okay? And some of these stars really kind of don't need weeks and weeks of learning and practice. When I learned I got the red coin star at a TikTok clock, I thought I was going to be dealing with one of the hardest red coin stars in the game. Nope, it's a star that takes like 30 seconds with minimal platforming skill. Can't wait to find a way to mess that one up. I, like a few other runners, wasn't necessarily having a Rocky-like montage preparing for the relay. Some of us did have ways to practice, whether it would be on emulator, on official hardware, or even copies of the Mario 3D All-Stars collection for the Nintendo Switch that we're collecting dust for a while.
But I don't have an N64. Correct me if I'm wrong, the Nintendo Switch version of it, you need Nintendo Switch Online, but like the expansion pass to play the N64 stuff?
If you don't have the 3D All-Stars pack, which stupidly was a limited edition release.
Oh, wait, I have that. That's right.
Oh
my God. Hang on, one second. I'm pretty sure I have it. Oh my God, I swear to God I have it. Yeah, oh my God. Live, you have reminded me that I have this stupid thing. Thank you so much.
That's how actually
No problem solved.
That's how I actually have been practicing, is using the 3D All-Stars pack. I know, not the same as practicing on an N64 controller, but at least it's something.
So I was kind of a kid during like the DS and Wii era. So my exposure to 64 was mostly through the DS version. And at the time, it was kind of like, I heard about everyone complaining about the D-pad and how terrible the controls are. I think just like for the age I was, playing with the 3DS circle pad kind of made me like fill in the gaps and enjoy that version. And whenever I went to the N64 version, I was always like, it feels more slippery, it feels harder to control. I like the DS version more. So kind of circling back to this now, it's kind of like, okay, I guess I gotta put in a little bit more legwork to get familiar with the N64 controls coming up for this.
Honestly, before starting this whole process, I didn't get it. I always thought that speedrunning wasn't for me. I always thought that speedrunning is a grind, and it's just hours and hours and hours of doing the same thing over and over and over again. But now that I've gotten into it, I've learned I've learned all of them, but I'm doing my best to learn all of the intricacies of Mario's movement in SM64. And after, seeing my understanding and mastery of just individual stars and individual levels just get better and better, I get it now. It's intoxicating. The self-improvement and just seeing the time get that much lower and that much lower, and my own personal skill get that much more and more just like better, for lack of a better word, right now. It's just wonderful. I get it now, and it's great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty familiar with Mario 64 from a sort of speedrunner standpoint. Of course, all of the amazing speedrunner content creators have done a fantastic job of sort of, explaining how the game works and introducing everybody to kind of its main mechanics and, how it looks to play, what the kinds of things you need to do in it are to succeed. So, I thought, okay, there's a way I can approach this. But honestly, I'm so not ready for the main stage right now. I'm going to be grinding a lot before the week comes, and also during the week. I'm lucky to have most of my on-stage obligations that are not this be done in the early part of the week, so you'll find me in the practice room from like Tuesday to Friday, just with the controller, trying to get that bunny. So yeah, definitely an interesting new experience. We'll say that.
The star is actually the amazing emergency exit. So it's in Hazy Maze Cave, and I looked it up. It's literally like, run down a hallway, do a triple jump and a wall kick, you're done. I'm like, perfect. I'm gonna lock in. I've got an N64. I've got the game. controller doesn't work. So I'm like, okay, how else can I go about this? I have an emulator, I dump my ROM, and I have an N64 USB controller, and I did it once, and I'm like, I'm good. I'm going to practice at the event now. I'm not going to touch this for 3 weeks. I got it the first try, and we're just going to carry that luck onto stage.
Fast forward to January 2026, and GDQ is now live to a global audience with great runs, funny moments, and fire alarms.
Evasion rate, it affects... Alright. A weird fire alarm going off. Are we good? Are we...
For the participants in the relay, there was a lot of prep work to be done at the event. Getting to be named on the 70-plus person team just wasn't enough to get on stage. There were 2 things that runners had to do. Participate in a dress rehearsal before the relay to go over how we were going to be seated and handle passing the controller off to the next runner. And prove to King J that you can do your start in front of him. Yes, that includes talking to Toad. Throughout the week, runners would fill GDQ's practice room, getting their feel for the N64 version and practicing their stars, sometimes way past midnight where there's only a handful of people even awake at the time to begin with. On the day of the relay, the final day of the event, the biggest moment of GDQ was upon us.
This is the hard one.
The big one.
Okay, not that moment. With all 70-plus runners sitting in a specially reserved area of an immensely packed stage and a loud ovation from the audience, GDQ history was ready to be made. Now, if I may interject, as one of the runners who was in the relay, I wanted to take a moment and share what I was feeling right then and there. I have always wanted to be on one of the mainline GDQs and do a run on the main stage. The crowd on the day of the relay was humongous. The excitement, my own excitement, everything honestly was a little bit overwhelming if I'm being real. I had butterflies in my stomach. I was incredibly nervous. The fact that I had such a late star in the relay did not help things because every star that was acquired, it just kept building up more and more. I didn't get to my run until my star until 90 minutes into the relay. And I think a few other runners would agree with how I was feeling. I was just excited to just kind of see how this would all play out and to also not be the one who would game over. Of course, the relay wasn't the only thing happening at GDQ, and some of these runners had other commitments, from doing other runs during the event to hosting, maybe even doing some extra practice before the relay. And like I said, the nerves were definitely there, as well as the increasing level of anticipation with each day that passes.
A combination of nerves and excitement. It's going to be my first time running on the big stage, the main stage. I've run at Fatales before, but that's it was a really niche game that I ran, and not something that millions of people around the world love and will get mad about if you mess up. So, even just being a small part of this, it's definitely nerve-wracking. I'm gonna run up to my room and grab my game cartridge and practice a little bit more.
Honestly, the biggest challenge for me has been trying to fit practice and a genuine quote unquote first playthrough into some of my schedule, because I'm not the most busy person in the world, but I do have a lot of tangentially related hobbies that I do. Genuinely busy and also just wanting to take time for myself is not the easiest thing when you have to do so much, because I'm also commentating for multiple runs in this event. And also I'm hosting, and it's my first time ever hosting, so obviously I'm out of everything the most nervous about that. But all of it is becoming this really exciting build up to what is going to be a very busy week for me. But other than that, I've been feeling pretty good.
One thing that King J set out for this relay was to have no game overs, which is quite something considering you have a lot of people in this run who, again, have never speedrun this game before, and some people were feeling quite risky with some of their strats to get their stars. The bomb clip went off without a hitch, and at 129's 100 coin start at Wom's Fortress went seemingly well. Even the slide stars at Peach's castles were done without much trouble, as well as the wing cap stars. But as we got deeper into the run, we ran into some moments, and oh boy, were they moments. Like this one.
Oh no!
That's okay.
It's all right.
This is the scariest
okay.
section.
Yeah. That was a
And this one.
Here we are.
Welcome to the clock.
And there we go. It's all good.
And this one.
This double wall jump is a little weird.
Yeah, it's actually really difficult.
Oh!
That was excellent defense, to be fair.
Yes,
that
honestly.
was great defense. Championship
Nice.
defense.
There we go.
Look at that.
However, little by little, the people were starting to make mistakes, dying at various points during the run in an effort to show off some shortcuts and flashy strats. The life counter started to tick down, putting us closer and closer to that game over. Even the blindfolded stars had some hiccups along the way. But the beauty of this relay was the highs and lows, getting to see runners of all skills try their absolute hardest and give the best showcase imaginable.
Yeah, I think the blindfolded definitely adds some stress to it because it's the sort of thing where I know I can do it, but also if something goes wrong in a blindfolded run, like there's not really a way to recover from that other than looking and seeing where you are. So there's the stress to get it right. It is, the fact that I'm not like the main focus of the run, it's a relay, and if necessary, I can just, go and finish the star-sighted if I have to.
The crowd popped off so many times, even with tricks that speedrunning fans have seen a million times. It was interesting seeing the life counter get close to 0, only to come back up and get back down close to 0 again. We nearly game overed multiple times. Some runners tried to take big chances at really hard tricks that they picked up weeks or even days ago, and don't even get me started on some of the terrible movement with some of these runners. Like, this guy fell to the floor during red coins at TikTok clock. Who does that? Hey, wait a minute. Why am I getting called out in my own video? But to the credit of the group as a collective, they did a great job learning the game and not only learning their stars, but doing their best to attempt strats that only seasoned runners would try and exhibit on a big stage. And truth be told, there were some hype moments all the way towards the end.
I'm not gonna lie, for my section I was nervous because I told King J, and I even told the person who was going after me, I said, hey, my star was either gonna be 15 seconds or I choked. No in between. And I don't know a backup. And the person next to me and King J did not look very excited to get that information. But I didn't know the backup. Like, generally, people are like, oh, just bounce on the shy guy. What shy guy? I don't know a shy guy. I'm just gonna hopefully hit the trick.
Even towards the end, the prospect of game overing was very much real, and when I got to my star, I was close to having a mini panic attack. I was handed the controller at 0 lives, and well, there's an aspect about all this that we hadn't discussed yet. See, before a runner got to go on stage, they had to slather on hand sanitizer to make sure the controller was as sterile as possible. And I mean a lot of hand sanitizer. And when you have dozens of people freshly hand sanitized touching the same controller, it's going to get slippery, making some tricks a little more cumbersome than with a dry controller.
So I get up there and I get a ton of hand sanitizer. Like, I know people online probably are not going to believe this, but like the amount of hand sanitizer that we were given was enormous. Like, it was not a little squirt. It was like foamy, and I was trying to get it off as the guy ahead of me is already done, and it's clear I need to go up here. So the guy gets done. I'm like trying to get it done. I'm wiping off my pants. I sit down, I grab the controller, and oh my, in that moment, there was just so many lights on you. Like, I don't think I even realized, like, I sat down and I just felt like a flashbang. Just 3 studio lights on you. You have King J beside me. I have Spike behind me. He saw me hit earlier in the week. He's got another commenter. There's an LCD TV and a CRT and another, like, LCD TV that you could use. Like, you could pick whatever display you wanted to look at. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, oh man. And the first thing King J says is, Derek, we're gonna grab that box and we're gonna bounce on it. We're gonna get this star, aren't we? And And I'm like, I don't even have words. I literally just shake my head and then I make a face kind of like, oh, damn, hopefully this works. And there's actually a photo in the GDQ album of me making that face right before I enter the level. Like, I am so terrified. Because even though I saw runners choke beforehand, so I know this run wasn't like high level, I still didn't want to be the guy that was known as, oh, I missed it 3 times and I didn't know a backup, so someone else had to do my star. Again, learn a backup if you're ever going to do this. This was really egotistical of me to do.
The biggest concern for me was how slippery the controller was going to be. So a lot of it was just, yeah, when I got to there and I put on the hand sanitizer, I was like, okay, hopefully the controller is not too bad, and especially the control stick, because I definitely will need that. And let's just say the controller was in a very interesting state by the time I got on the stage. That was the one thing I was worried about. And also I was a little bit cold because I had a regular shirt on. Like, I had a cool shirt, but it was just more like, it was like I was a little cold in that room. Because usually I would be wearing like a jacket or something, or like a sweatshirt to like keep me warm. So not really anything was really worrying me. I mean, part of me was like a little bit nervous when I got up there, because obviously you're on stage, and I was more nervous for that than I was for my past HDQ run of Nintendo World Championships, because this was more like, okay, get your star and then get off, essentially. So I mean, it was good, but it's just, yeah, there's a few things I was just a little worried about, but other than that, it was a lot better than having it be like on the fly, so it wasn't too bad.
Even with that being said, the party didn't stop and the crowd was just as hyped towards the end of the run as they were for the start of the run. We even got a hype moment from a Toad Star. A Toad Star! With all 70 stars collected, all that's left is for the final Bowser throw to close out the run. A clean throw from King J, and that's time. And clean throw now? Now? Joey? There we go. The original estimate for this run was 1 hour and 40 minutes. We were only at star 63 when we got to 140, and so the estimate got pushed back to 155. The final time? 1 hour, 55 minutes, and 53 seconds. Almost 20 minutes over the original estimate. Now, I'd say that was the end of the run, but we got treated to some bonus stars that honestly was incredibly hyped to see.
All right, here we're gonna slide kick into it first. Nice.
4,000.
Let's go. 4,003 stars left. It's gonna be a race.
It is.
Captain Morgan, yeah.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Oh my God, we got it first try.
First try. Wait, there we go. Let's
And
go.
we're in. Yeah, let's go.
We're in.
It's actually not.
The other boss.
Yeah, we're going back to the past here.
Pay no attention to the old Western lighting we've got going on right here.
All right, here we go.
Let's go!
What? Gotta get up and over.
We did it!
They gave us 4, we already did! Yes! My dude!
You would think that a run as scuffed as this, that took place on the biggest speedrunning event of the year, that the overall opinion of the quality of the relay would be skewing towards negative. I mean, a large percentage of the run did have some novices attempting and sometimes failing some pretty big tricks. But look at the comments and general reaction from viewers, it was actually pretty positive. Comments ranging from excitement, seeing people try their hand at the game, to outright calling it one of the best parts of GDQ was proof that the run was a success.
So it was really nice, and aside from there, I was a lot more nervous for that than I was for my actual awful block run. So it was definitely pretty good in terms of like how it managed to work well. Like, seriously, the producers did a great job, the staff did a great job, a lot of safety people did a good job, and then just everybody had such a great collaborative effort, and I just feel like it was such a good thing, but I don't think it'll be happening for another 2 years at least. So, yeah, it was fun, but it's definitely once in a lifetime experience to just be a part of that. So it was really nice.
You know, I try to stay off of the Reddit pages about this kind of thing because a lot of times it can be kind of toxic.
Right.
But I did see that I just saw some reactions to it when the schedule dropped, and they weren't like toxic or anything, but I was just like very entertained by how people were reacting just to seeing the concept, let alone actually seeing it play out. It's just going to be something very entertaining for me to scroll through like the chat and Blue Sky feeds and all that after the run.
Even on the charity front, the 2 hours spent on the run ended up raising well over $100,000 for the Prevent Cancer Foundation. This run was never meant to be some sort of technical masterful showcase. I mean, Bubsia's PB in this game is 56 minutes and 35 seconds, meaning that PB can be replayed in its entirety twice, and it still would take less time than the relay at GDQ took. But when it was all said and done, the final time didn't matter. It never did. Speaking as someone who got to participate in his first ever GDQ run as part of this relay, I was ecstatic getting to be a part of something incredible, and I know I'm not the only one who felt the same way. King J's focus on getting people who never got to be on that stage and people who don't really run Super Mario 64 highlighted a fundamental and core belief about the hobby. That anyone can be a part of speedrunning. That you don't have to be a world record holder or an uber popular streamer to do a cool thing in the hobby, or to be on stage at such a big event.
And then to be a part of the relay is also really fun. When I saw it got announced, I saw it being talked about on Blue Sky when it got accepted, I immediately posted this is gonna be a disaster. This is just gonna be hell. And and it definitely seems like it's gonna be like that, but definitely not in a negative way. I feel like it's gonna be just chaotic fun. And I knew that despite the fact that I myself haven't really touched SM64 in a good number of years, I wanted to try and at least throw my hat into it, despite, not being the greatest at it myself.
Yeah. I agree with what you said there about it being a celebration. When I saw that it got in, I was very excited because no matter what, no matter if I got in, no matter who got in, it was going to be a celebration of, one, just the overall community of GDQ itself, but also just giving the opportunity of someone who would not normally run a game or wouldn't want to submit a game but wants to do something very small, have the chance to go on that stage and be themselves on that stage. And I think that's very beautiful. And like you mentioned, there are different walks of life on the relay list. You have someone like me who's been running for, again, 8 to 9 years and is very experienced. You have people who just are touching a Mario game for the first time, or just in general a Nintendo product for the first time at this event. And so it's awesome to see these different skill levels all just come together to put together one beautiful art piece of GDQ run.
Yeah, I think it's kind of what you said, right? It's symbolic of the speedrunning community as a whole. It is international. It transcends borders and languages in a lot of ways because we recognize the games. Even if we don't speak the same language, we kind of know what's happening. It transcends, just a lot of different things. And it also kind of shows that you can break down games and you don't necessarily have to be able to get a world record in 70 star, but you can focus on 10 seconds or a minute and hopefully do that really well. So what ultimately got me to transition into speedrunning was not, what I saw at GDQ main events as much as I loved watching them. Doing pixel perfect, Mario didn't necessarily resonate with me, but it was the idea of some of the hotfix shows like The First Step, which showed how it was easy to break into speedrunning, to break down games, to just get started and just have fun and do it with a friend and things like that. And I think the Mario Relay has some of that same DNA, where even if some of us have played Mario or have done speedruns, this is 70 star, this isn't 16, this isn't, so even if you're familiar with that, you might not have done what you're specifically doing here, but it is ultimately a celebration of the community, of the event itself, of the charity that we're working with to raise money. It's going to be super fun, it's going to be hype, it's going to be something people haven't seen before. I think it's gonna just, kind of tick all those boxes. And, not everything in speedrunning has to be about world records or has to be about perfection. It can sometimes be simple as just having fun with your friends. And I think that's one of the magical pieces of GDQ is like the couch dynamic and the host dynamic and the interactivity. And you have bid wars and incentives. And sure, it's faster if you don't save the animals, but we're still gonna do that when it comes to Metroid. So like, it's not always about like you have to go for that perfection. Sometimes like building the community and showcasing what makes it special and having a good time with your friends is like just as important, if not more important.
Yeah, I think it's a really cool opportunity. Just to be part of the larger thing. Like, would it be cool if someone was like, "Oh, hey, that's Cell"? Like that would be cool. But I'm part of it to show just sort of the community that exists within speedrunning, because this sort of thing would not exist without folks being a community and people being willing to jump in and to try things, be it from really experienced runners to people like me who've never touched the game before, and Joey organizing it and making it very welcoming and open to folks. So
I really enjoy being part of something bigger than myself, but I have always been part of like the background, behind the scenes, like you generally from the crowd, you can't even see the donation station. Like we're the ones that are responsible for making sure that the hosts have excellent donations from generous people, both in person and online to read. But I've never been in front of the camera myself. And so, and also I don't really speedrun anything, which feels funny to admit, but I've been more than anything like a speedrun enthusiast rather than a speedrunner. So the idea that I get to join so many other people who are going to have very similar experiences to mine as well, to be a part of such a, what I'm hoping is going to be a memorable part of AGDQ 2026 is super exciting.
Just again, insane it happened. It's really a once in a lifetime thing. I really don't think that'll happen ever again at like a GDQ, if I'm being completely honest. Maybe for like a different game. I don't know about Mario 64, because 70 Relay just doesn't even sound like a thing that could happen ever, but here we are, it happened. And we had a lot of people sign up, a lot of people hype for it, a lot of people watched it. Yeah, it was very cool. Joey's crazy for getting that in. I cannot believe that actually got in. It's insane. Definitely also honored to be a part of it, honestly. I mean, anyone should be. Like, that's like probably never going to happen again. So if you were in it, you should really like be thankful you got to be part of that.
And with the success of the relay, the possibility of future relays down the road, it only means that you, dear viewer, could very well be a part of something incredible like this, further cementing the idea that anyone can be a part of speedrunning. KJ even took the relay onto the road with a 16-star relay at PAX East just months after AGDQ. This AGDQ relay felt less like a Mario 64 showcase and more so a celebration of speedrunning and what makes it so great. People from all over the gaming sphere of varying degrees of experience across so many different genres coming together and having fun for an incredible cause and making memories along the way. That's what moments like these are all about.
Before we end off, I'm going to throw it really quick because we have gone over our estimate. I do want to quickly say one little bit of serious thing. Look, it was a lot of stress and work that went into this. I just want people to know that if you are out there in the crowd or in the audience, if you have an idea and people say that you can't do it, if you have something that you want to do, you are capable of it. We never thought this was possible at GDQ before, and look at us now. We just did that.
If you got to this point, I just want to say thank you for tuning in. It really means the world to me. This is the first time I'm doing these kinds of videos, and I hope to make some more relatively soon. In the meantime, feel free to subscribe to this channel for when new videos drop, and if you're curious about watching the stuff I speedrun, you can follow me on Twitch. Hope you have a good day, and remember, you matter.